Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Gulf Shore City Council Work Session meeting, October the 4th. Appreciate you being here. As I think most of you know, this is the day when we discuss all the things that will be on the agenda for next Monday's meeting and vote. And this is for us to listen to you with your thoughts and opinions on any of these and or anything else you've got on your mind when we get further down the road. And we'll begin with a councilman discussion period. Mr. Sinek.
No, nothing this week. Thank you.
City Clerk Wanda.
Yes, sir. Marcy Kickler has been nominated to be appointed to the Personnel Board to replace Nora Mandoki. Nora has moved out of the city, so she is no longer eligible to serve on that board. Marcy has agreed to serve and would like to be appointed for the 3-year term ending March 27th, 2024, and we'll prepare a resolution for council consideration next week.
Thank you, Wanda. Can't be much concern about that. It sounds like a great fit. Any questions or comments by anybody? Thank you, Wanda.
Yes, sir.
Next, Mark.
Yes, sir. We have a change order for your consideration for next Monday for the Bodenhammer Center lobby renovation project. We got into this project, and there's two issues that are leading to this change order. The first one is there was a lot of additional electrical work needed to supply ground power to the 12 cardio equipment areas. So what we had to do, we had to saw cut through the slab, run conduit through the slab, and then come back and pour back over them so those cardio units could actually be connected to a power source at the floor location and not create a trip hazard. That also requires some additional work to be done on the wall itself and distribution panel. And then there was a flooring upgrade that is a lot longer lasting than the initial spec'd out product that we recommend as well. The total for this change order is $29,500. The funding for this project was provided for in the recreational impact fee account. And in that same account, we have approximately $48,000 in underruns that will cover this change order. So we are not asking for a budget amendment. We do not need additional monies for this change order. We're just asking for an amendment to the contract itself, and the funding for this change order will be paid for savings through a couple of other projects that we undertook this year.
Thank you, Mark. Council, any questions?
Yeah, Mark, when you guys are doing this, see if you can't maybe just think into the future a bit. If we're going to need more in there while we're doing this, maybe we could put some extra plugs there and blank them.
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, that way while we got to get in there and do it, that way if we happen to change something around, we'll have a plug there.
Okay, we'll do.
Anybody else, council? Anybody in the audience, any questions, comments? Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Next, Grant, you got a couple of things for us?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Coach Bryant, these are really pretty snazzy. Thank you. Appreciate that. So we have 2 assembly permits for your consideration next Monday night. The first is a request from Coach Philip Bryant and the Gulf Coast region of USA Volleyball to host their annual beach series. These are dates of youth volleyball events that take place throughout the 12-month season. Jake, will you switch to the next slide? I put on the screen, and it's hard to read, and I'm sorry, but beginning the first tournament in February, and their last event is in November. So it's a February event, an April event, a May event early, which also coincides with the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship. And then they have 3 events in the summertime, two in June, July, then they take a break and they go October and then end up in November. Currently, his assembly permit from 2021 includes the October tournaments this fall and November. So this is his request to move forward with the next year series. And Jacob, the next slide shows the location and the number of courts. This is a typical court setup at the West Gulf Place beachfront, where the city maintains 6 volleyball courts on a regular basis. The coach and his group will just add to those nets and increase the number of courts depending on the actual number of participants that have signed up for these tournaments. One additional discussion point came up this morning in our staff meeting, and I did speak to Coach Bryant about this. In the summertime particularly, the amount of participants that come to play in the tournaments and the spectators, when they drive their cars in and look for a place to park where they'll be parked for the entire day, we're going to ask him to push out with his registered attendees parking location north of the highway so that the beachfront parking can remain more for the day-to-day beachgoers and more of the in and out type of traffic, where his players who will be there for a set amount of hours can park off the beach and not take up some of those valuable parking spaces. And with that, I'd like to invite Coach Bryant to come up to the microphone and say a few words and speak about the success of this program. This is 23 years worth of his work that has gone into creating indoor and beach volleyball very successfully, and most everybody that here is on council and in the audience is aware of his direct influence on allowing the AVCA college championship to be here in Gulf Shores, which then led to the NCAA national championship, which has really been a tremendous boon for the city of Gulf Shores. Coach Bryant?
Thank you, Grant. Mayor, thank you, council, Wanda, Steve, staff of the greatest volleyball city in the United States. Can we turn this into a pep rally? Let's turn this into a pep rally. I am so privileged and so honored every year to have this annual pilgrimage to share with y'all not only a spirit towel from this year. Okay, and this isn't a rah-rah towel, Kevin. This is not, we got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you know? This is the spirit of what Gulf Shores has allowed beach volleyball to become, not only in the United States, but internationally. It is amazing the number of participants and the number of university colleges and junior colleges that are now participating in women's intercollegiate volleyball, beach volleyball. Can anybody remember back to the first year we hosted? How many teams? 6? There was 11, Mr. Jones. That's long train running. There were 11 teams. Now, I talked to Kathy DeBoer yesterday just so we would have a really solid number. There are 392 teams now participating in intercollegiate women's beach volleyball. Is that an amen?
That's awesome.
That is an amen. Just think of all the student athlete, the young women that are able to play because of what all of you fostered that first year. When we came up and we said, hey, we can have a national championship and it can be televised eventually on ESPN, 32 hours last year. Am I right, Mayor? Of live programming from the city of Gulf Shores. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are amazing. And every year that the game grows and develops, I just think back 17 years ago when y'all said yes to a little old region of USA Volleyball. And Grant, we're actually in our 25th year this year. 25th year, but 17 years ago, y'all said, yes, y'all can use the beach to run a tournament. We had 9 teams. So the process now of Beach Fest, we have 500 junior teams. And a lot of you staff had children that's played through our programming over the years. And it has developed a lot of character for our community, a lot of outreach for our community. And like one mom said that was in town last weekend, we hosted, because of y'all's graciousness to let us use the beach, a national beach developmental program for USA Volleyball. And there were 68 athletes in town, and you're going to see a lot of those play in the national championship. And this past year, what did our women do in beach in the Olympics? Alex and April won the beach championships. And it's really attested, council and mayor, that because of the collegiate beach, we have that program that we will never not be the gold medal champion in the Olympics for our women. You know, and I'll also say Evelyn Sanders approached me 40 years ago, this week probably, and said, Coach Bryant, can you run a beach volleyball tournament during Shrimp Fest? And I said, sure, Miss Evelyn, we'll try it. Jason, did you play in it?
I'm not sure.
You did not sure. But hey, it was nowhere close to what it is now. It was 6-on-6, not 2v2 like we play now. And it was just a wonderful testimony that we've had a long track record. Y'all been so good, so willing. And I want y'all to, there's some spirit tiles right here. And, you know, just the spirit of what y'all have allowed the city of Gulf Shores to become. And an athletic opportunity is just so wonderful, so amazing, and so necessary this day and age. That we're growing, we're getting better because of y'all. And thanks for having a short pep rally here today for volleyball. We are appreciative, Grant, appreciate everything you do. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you,
Damn,
Coach.
Philip, how am I gonna tell you no now? It's impossible. Great story and great event, and I know we are really proud to have ESPN, be on ESPN for those number of hours, showcasing our beach and our kids, and it's an amazing accomplishment, and your role in that is not unrecognized, so thank you.
I want to be the humble side of it and not be recognized. I want our community athletes, our community citizens, those that are going to play collegiate. We now have 7 collegiate. I wanted to add this at the end, Mayor. We now have 7 collegiate beach volleyball players from the island here, and that's just the start of how we're going to develop kids to be able to go play collegiately. So thanks, Mayor.
Council, any
Thank
questions
you
or
for
comments?
what you've done.
Thank you, Councilman.
Anybody else with anything? Audience? Let's give them one more round of applause. Okay, Grant, follow that.
Well, it's along the same spirit lines. Because we do such a great job in hosting beach volleyball tournaments, Sarah Senth, who is the new coach at Spring Hill College, has requested on October 30th a one-day fall collegiate volleyball event at our public beach area. This is a small event. Let me see if I can forward it. It's a small event which will set up nets very near the existing courts that are set up at the public safety building area in West Gulf Place. Coach Weaver and Coach Bryant are also having one of their events on October the 30th. And so the economies of scale work out very well for her to be able to bring a few collegiate teams over, set up a separate set of nets for them to have their competition while the other event is going on. Again, a small number of teams just for that one day. And with that, I'll be glad to try to answer any questions, but it made real good sense to us to be supportive of this.
Thanks, Grant. Any questions, audience, council, anybody? On the parking, I talked to Ron Durham today, and his lot across the street, he will very definitely encourage us to use it and allow us to use it. He was, I don't know in the past how we dealt with getting some liability insurance on that.
Hold harmless.
Hold harmless agreement. You will have to do that, but there's no problem with using that property. And I think that's the only negative that I've ever heard of taking up all the parking places when other folks can't find a place to park. So that's the only question we had, and it sounds like that's something can be managed. All right. That's all we got on the agenda. Anybody here with anything on their mind? How about our school folks, Mr. Corcoran?
We'll be holding a combination work session.
Even you. They just can't hear you.
Y'all may be able to meet in 15 minutes, but this Thursday, we're having our regularly scheduled work session / regular meeting. It will include the superintendent evaluation. It will include, what else presentation do we have, Matt?
You had them there.
We'll be providing COVID updates. We'll be providing our superintendent's evaluation. We expect it to be a pretty lengthy meeting, but very informative, and we encourage everyone. It's in this very venue, and it's 4:00 this Thursday. Hopefully Facebook will be up by then.
Thank you. Anybody else? Got something on their mind, he wants to come forward. I don't have any updates really of significance. We got a lot of stuff that we're working on, but nothing new to report. So, anybody? Council? Joe?
Adjourn.
We stand adjourned. Thank you. We'll see you next
Almost, didn't
Monday.
he?
Where's Carolyn when you need her?